As I contemplate on the nature of the way in regards to yin yang, balance, harmonious dance of the energies of the universe, everything. Now, for the counterbalance, a misnomer of a sort, in that it can be misleading in regards to the proportion with which return the force is put towards you. The yin yang, as one pushes for harmony, the other must relent. This is not a retreat of any sorts. While the same vocabulary and vernacular may be used to describe both situations independently, co-independently, in many ways, many things. Those don't negate that they're not centrally different. Negative connotations in speech and morals may be described as an evil intentions, as violent acts, harmful thoughts and actions. However, in the energetic, the physics, quantum mechanical side of it, so to speak, pressure, gravity is a force, it is everywhere, it is pushing, we don't understand it, although the lenses and retinas that we use to pick up the small spectrum of visible light that we can see does not allow us to see the molecular structure of the air, but it does consist of many things, all things. We can't see it. We do not consciously process the learned ability to manipulate it by walking around. These are how we develop muscles, is strength. The entire idea is very basic stuff here when people don't think about it in these terms, but it's quite simple. So negative can be used to specify the act of the air giving way for us to come through. We are positively moving forward. It is moving back out of the way. It is not the same to say that it is evil, or in the Chinese Tao philosophy, Tao Te Ching, sense of the word, the negative, dark, feminine are synonymous with each other in that of the counterbalance in the duality that is energy. These connotations there can be mean and evil connotations described in the same way based on intent, but then that comes back to the whole idea of what one puts out, one gets back. This is true in the form of kinetic energy and your efforts, but also intentions. Just because one sets out to build a house for someone and it is a selfless deed, failure to build a sound house is not take away from the act that is overwhelmingly positive. Now, one may say even the failure of the house was in nature's little bitty, tiny tiny counterbalance to the overwhelmingly positive thing. But I digress. That is not to say you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. But it may be another way, another point to say that it's not to influence the universe to one's intent. That is the goal. That is not the goal. This is not harmony. Until one is in a state of harmony, one cannot act as the catalyst for the momentum. Now, in the second law of thermodynamics, the ever-expanding universe, what have you, the ego, it's always inflating, may be described. Well, let me see, how do I put this? So, the universe is going to always be in a state of flux, a state of energy cannot be transferred. Change. So the force of this, from this omnipresent or omniscient even, the mysterious space of Earth, we don't know. The sun, even just in our galaxy, the sun is thought to be the center and rotate, but while that is not so far off, it is not entirely true. The sun wobbles on a sort of periodical differentiating ovoid octahedron shape around us, a center point a little bit near it. The whole universe is sort of on a wobble rotation, creating what the static charge that actually makes the energy within it. If it was just spiraling, it would, being harmonious, and so there would be no. So if you catch my drift there, it is the disharmony within that act that creates a friction that creates our visible, that whole tangible universe. But that is for another time. But the idea of the yin and the yang so how does one go with the flow of what is presented, yet still be beneficial to oneself? Well, desire for change is a large part of want of change. The desire for change first must originate within an admission of not being happy, an admission of a state of needing approval, betterment. That in order to say you want better later, you must start from a point of I'm not where I want to be. And if there's no true reason for this, or if the man can get caught in it, there's really no escape, because tomorrow never comes. It's an illusory concept that the brain is able to illustrate for the purposes of interpersonal communication. But in the sense of the word, can you experience the future? You cannot. We never can. There's only the now. This is. You can't help but laugh when you see the truth behind some of these things, because it's so absurd. It doesn't make any sense, but it's so true. Yin and yang are positive forces, negative forces existing. If the universe is going to be in a state of movement, change, then there's going to be at the point of friction, at the point of disharmony, an overwhelming sense of cognitive understanding of what they perceive to be the negative, positive. Morals is usually what we would be talking about. Let's take it from a political point of view. So they want to see the overwhelming thing they disagree with, that they don't understand, so they want to fix it, go against it, with the same fervor and energy, if not more, than they see it coming. However, this is not harmonious. If this only 100%, 75% is coming of a negative area, well, anything more than 25% positivity is disharmonious. And and it's going to clash, and then it's not going to achieve any real end, but more chaos. How could it not, So is this to say relent to one's opposition and give in? Well, no. But to use the tools of the trade you are given to accomplish one's end, regardless of their seemingly inconsequential nature of relevance. A hammer is used for hammering, and having been told that forever, you may not think of it to hunt with. Why would it be me? You take a bunch of old belongings and put them in a warehouse downtown somewhere. The big sign, the junk store. Take what you need. Donations accepted. Outcry. People. This is ugly. How awful. Oh, look at it. Don't go there. It's just junk. Who wants that? You take the sign down, put up art show. You hear, oh, it's so raw. It's real. It says so much with so little. I can't believe it. It's brilliant. To question something what am I talking about? Well, so the idea of the yin and the yang, each as they dance, have a touch of the other within them. So to act as a counterbalance of sorts to their own presence. So if they're only bringing overwhelmingly positive, if you're 25% positivity that you're working with is what you're working with. So that is 100% of what you're doing. Well, now that must have 25% of negative energy within it to be harmonious and thus be effective. The 25% negativity one would attribute to that act is then another 100% that must have within it a 25% goodness. And on and on. So within the framework of this naturally occurring harmony, energy, resonance, we find the idea of the fractal ever present and unquestionably within the framework of what we have called of our own choosing reality. Now, of course, everybody may have a different version of it. Just ask any TV network. But this is not true of everyone. We all live within our own reality, a private locked room that no one ever gets to see or experience. Or so we think. But that's a very literal and visceral way to describe what appears to be an abstraction of thought and philosophy in regards to commenting on the framework of reality consisting of fractals, when when I show them a picture of fractals and they look around and they see the bricks and the trees and the television and the phones and the pictures of trees. That's everyone will get you. They always post pictures of outside. They're like, oh, it's a rectangle. There's no way. He's a madman. He's always laughing and never saying anything tangible. Oh, it's right there. It's right there. It is there. So, if it's there without you, then you should evaluate how you work and exist within it, at least a little bit.